it's very helpful. A video like yours is very helpful for, I would say, 90% of the people out there who have no clue, but want to do and want to enhance the performance of their Z06 without messing with the computers and without doing a lot of stuff. And I think, cold air intake and the throttle bodies, such a huge upgrade. I mean, you can tell the difference right away. I mean, I drove the car, I get my stuff done in Austin at a performance shop there. I know you do yours yourself. I wish I could do all that. Drove to Austin, and then the drive home, it was like night and day from having that cold air intake put on, and also the Mamos. Again, I don't know what the 92s are going to hold or what that looks like, but it's going to be really interesting. And you brought up something too. So they sent me the throttle controller. Now, do you have this on your car now with the Mamos?
I
Okay.
do. Yes.
Huge.
I have it on my car. I'll probably be buying one for my TRX as well.
Okay.
That was my first, I think it was my first mod. I don't quote me on that because it's been a while. I think it
Yeah.
was the very first modification that I did was the throttle controller. Because my thing is when I first got the car, I came from an LS7 C5 and I had a Gen 4 Viper 2. The throttle response in those, when you touch the throttle, because of the torque of the 7 liter and the 8.4, whatever the Viper was, the torque was instant. You touched the throttle and the car was moving. The biggest adjustment for me with this platform, the flat plane crank and the no torque down low, I say no, there's just not a lot, was when I would initially put the throttle, I felt like it took a lot of engagement to get the car to move in a way that I wanted to, was not aggressive. And I didn't want to run around in track mode all the time because it stayed in the RPMs too high. It was annoying in traffic. I didn't like it. So I needed the car to be get up and go from less throttle input because I drive the same way in every car that I get in. My throttle input with my pedal is the same. I can't retrain myself to push harder and faster.
Right.
Like I can't
Right.
do it. I'm gonna push the same amount because I've been driving that way for 30 years. So when I put the throttle controller on there, it alleviated to where now I can put the same amount of throttle, but get X amount of response, and I can increase that or decrease however I want to do it. So to me, that was a game changer when I put it on the car because now the car jumps and lurches. Whatever you want it to do, you can make it do. Now I can fine tailor it to the perfect throttle response from idle to get the car to move the way I want it to move. And so that changed the way the car felt. It made it feel a lot faster. It's not faster, but felt a lot
Right.
faster. To me, it made the car more enjoyable. That was
Right.
my thoughts on that. And I still have it to this day. I keep it on the same setting. I haven't messed it. I haven't taken it off the car. It's been wonderful. No issues with it. I think it's one of the best mods to do,
What
personally.
setting? What setting do you have it in?
Sport 8.
Sport 8. Okay, because I know
Yeah.
Justin at Horsepower just installed one, and he put on, I think, Sport 6. So I was just curious what the difference. People are just, and it's probably just, again, when, like you said, it comes down to preferences about how you want it to react, and it's, and I do notice that about the car. But I tell you, sometimes it's hard because in like that first gear, the car's so loud, and it sounds like you're
Mhm.
going a lot faster than you really are, and then you kind of just get on it a little bit. But I did notice that, but until I learned more about all this stuff, I just assumed, well, that's just what it does. I didn't know there was a way to change that. So, I'm very excited to install this and review it and just talk about, because everyone talks about it, and I'm just like, can it really make that big of a difference? But everyone
Yeah.
is like, it makes a massive difference, and such
Hmm.
an easy install. I mean, it's like so easy to install, and you're just like, really? Like, this makes a difference? So it sounds like, okay, so you have the Eventuri. Let's just set the stage. Your car setup right now is Eventuri cold air intake, right?
It's Corsa. I've got the Corsa.
Oh, you went with okay, so but you had the Eventuri, right?
Well, David, which is a buddy of mine, he had a Venturi. I had the JLT initially, and then I
Okay.
swapped to the Corsa. So between the three of us, we've had all the intakes. I just have
Okay.
not had a Venturi on my car yet.
Okay. I watched you do the Corsa install because, okay, so you took off the JLT. So that gets down a whole nother, maybe we'll talk about that someday, because that JLT versus the Eventuri numbers versus the Corsa. Are you happy with the Corsa?
If I had to do it over again, just based on all the data points that are now available, multiple dynographs, multiple different cars, showing the Venturi versus the Corsa, if I had to do it over, I probably, to be honest with you, because I spent about the same amount of money between the JLT and the Corsa buying both of those.
Right.
If I'd have started with the Venturi, I'd have been better off, and I probably would have never made a change. My
Right.
focus is weight and performance, and the Venturi gives you both of those. My only reservation at the time was the cost. It was just, to me, I could not wrap my brain around. At that time it was like almost 3K for the intake. I couldn't wrap my brain around a cold air intake being $3,000. I
Right.
just couldn't do it. The
Right.
$1,500 for some reason being carbon fiber, the Corsa, I could wrap my brain around that, and 1,000 for the JLT, I could wrap my brain around that too. But I just could not, for whatever reason, get over that. Like that just seemed to be too much. Now, is it worth it? It is, to my opinion, the best intake on the market. If I was just going straight up, in hindsight, I would have just bought the Eventuri. I will eventually get an Eventuri.
Right.
There's for a couple reasons why. For one, the throttle bodies come off super easy on the Eventuri because I swap so much. Now with the Corsa, I have to take my intake loose, pull it back. It's a whole other process. It adds about an hour to the job. Whereas before, I could have throttle bodies off in 30 minutes with the Eventuri. So my goal eventually, I will go move on to the Eventuri. I'm still running the course. I like it. I don't have any negative about it. I think it definitely picked up the car. My time seemed to increase. So I felt like it was a better intake than what I had, which is the JLT. But I still think the Eventuri is the number one intake out there. I just think I have the number two intake right now.
Right.
Eventually, I'll be going to the number one when I can stomach spending the 3K on the intake. I just can't stomach it right now. There's so many other things I can buy for 3K that I'd rather
Right.
purchase.
Right. No, I agree. And I tell you, it was tough for me. So I made a mistake when I sold my. I don't even want to get into my mindset when I sold my 2024 Z06, but it had the Venturi in there, and I just sold it as is, right? And coming back the next time, I'm like, listen, I've been watching so many videos. I'm not going to buy that thing. I'm not going to spend another 3,000, 2,600 on that. So I was looking at the Corsa, and I'm like, okay, like this seems like something, like attainable, a little bit easier. And then I was looking at more, and then they offer that really, really beautiful carbon fiber, shield that goes on top of it to make it so your trunk looks amazing when it's all set up. I'm like, okay, well, that's another 1,500. So actually that cover over it, plus the Corsa is actually more expensive than the Eventuri. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. So finally I'm just like, you know what? Just do it, because if I don't, I'll probably have regrets not doing it. And like to your point, you have the JLT and then the Corsa. If you would have just bought the Venturi, you probably spent less money than buying the
Yep.
both of those. And that's kind of the mindset that I started to kind of come to. I'm like, just bite the bullet now, buy it. You'll be happy in the long run. And not only does it looks beautiful. I mean, it's such a cool looking intake, and just looking through it at the end. So, but again, I didn't know much about it, and initial videos, people were like, the JLT performs better than the Venturi, but then I know other videos came out, and I know you were talking about your friend David or whatever, did more dyno tests, and it does perform better than, I believe, wouldn't you say that it performs better than the JLT?
Yeah, I think the general, at least, there's been just too much data at this point that
Yeah.
the Venturi is number one, Corsa is
Yeah.
number two, JLT is number. I think, and even the two and three part between the Corsa and the JLT, that's still kind of debatable. I think I don't know if there's been direct comparisons between the two, but just the based on the fact that you save weight, 8 or 9 pounds, or that might be. I still think that's kind of the order I would place them in. I just don't think anybody is beaten out or even come close to the Venturi as far as on what all you get with it, the weight savings and all those kind of things. So
Right.
I still think it's number one, especially the mid range torque increase on that. I don't think anybody's gotten close to that.
Your video truly impacted me. I mean, it confused me, but also made me like start to think a lot, and not just to go with everyone's going with, but I wanted to hear from everybody and have their input. And so, I think it might be interesting to get on and with maybe me, you, and Mike, and talk about, kind of their thought process about what they did. Just so maybe you could add that to your video and talk about, listen, here's the next part of this, and maybe a second chance to redo kind of that information that you found, and have more, uh, input back from them. So when we do talk about this stuff, we're giving people, more education so they can make a better decision on what to do. So, and you and I are sitting here, oh, it's a money thing, or who knows why? Maybe, who knows why? But it'd be nice to get feedback from all the parties. And Tony's very open about his thought process and the way he approached things, and so was Mike. But it might be interesting just to take it another step further, how in depth you get and how you explain things. And you take something that might look or appear easy, but then you take it another level. And I love that about your videos, is like you really just explain it to a person like me who are like, that makes sense. Where, even though you're giving high level information, you're truly like, I don't want to say dumbing it down, but you're really making it simple enough to where people like me, who, like, I'm not an engineer and I don't know nearly as much as you do, but I can understand it. So I just, I encourage people, I'll put the link to your YouTube, below this video. Encourage people to subscribe and tune into your video because they're amazing. So if you have a C8, or you just want to, you're just interested in modifications on cars and how people, the things you're getting, I think they should definitely tune into your channel and just learn as much as possible. Because it really did help me.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm excited for that information on the 92s because I'll be honest with you, when they come out, I'll purchase them if they'll sell them to me. I'll purchase them. I'll try them out. If they work better in my car, I make more power. I'm gonna run those. So that's just the
Right.
way I'll do it. But that's exciting. I like new products. I like trying things out. I like trying to tease out what's better, what's not. And I'm doing this all from a place of as much honesty as I can. I don't
Yep.
want anybody to get inaccurate information. Now, is it possible that inaccurate information goes out from time to time? That
Of course.
happens in every stage of the world. Like, that
Right.
does happen. But I've tried my best to make whatever I say to be as accurate as I know it to be. And I would never try to mislead or be dishonest with somebody. As far as from that standpoint, I've got nothing to gain from it. I just enjoy this. I enjoy the community. I feel like everybody in the Corvette community is very unique from other cars.
Right.
I'm in a local Corvette club here, so you get to hang out. It's more than just a car. The Corvette, in my opinion, is kind of a lifestyle. I don't want to use that word because that sounds, to people that aren't into Corvettes, they may not understand it. But if you're into
Right.
Corvettes, I think you kind of get that. It's just a lifestyle. Everybody, the car is so easy to modify and make it your own, and that's what makes it special. I just don't see Lamborghini guys doing these things because the parts aren't available. They don't make enough of them
Right.
to be able to make that. And the beauty of the Corvette is there's so many of them mass produced. We can all make ours. You make yours how you want them. You like the Seabolt
Right.
gray. I think it's a great color. I like the Rapid Blue. I actually wanted Carbon Flash, but David got that color, so I decided to do something different so I wouldn't be the same. So it's a wonderful platform. It's fun to do this. I enjoy it. It's kind of just like a hobby of mine, and it'll remain a hobby. If I'm going to be doing it, I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway, just because I enjoy it until I can't do it anymore and I'm older, and I physically can't get under the cars and those kind of things. But for
Right.
now, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the platform. This is the best car I've ever owned, the Fiat Z06. If anybody's on the fence about getting one, I 1000% recommend it. It is by far the most eviscerating, exciting car I've ever driven. I love every time behind the wheel. I love the sounds, the feeling, the shifting. There's just nothing better, in my opinion, than this car. Now, obviously, I haven't been in a GT3 RS. There's some other things out there. I haven't been in these $500,000 cars, but from my standpoint as an average guy, I feel like I'm the typical, average American male in his 40s. I feel like this car is the top dog as far as getting everything at a great price. I think this is the car to go with, in my opinion. So, and I think
Right.
you agree with that too,
A
probably.
100%. And, people, how YouTube is and the trolls and the people making comments that really probably have never driven a Z06 or just, the old stereotype of Corvettes and things like that. And to your point, two things. You talk about the Corvette community. This car has opened up that community to a lot more people that never looked twice at a Corvette.
Hmm.
And I'm one of them. I never in my life ever thought I would own a Corvette. And then coming from R8s, which are beautiful and amazing, sound like crap. I don't care. They sound terrible. They just don't give you what it should be in a V10. I had a Huracan, and I tell people all the time, I owned these cars. I drove them. And the Z06 is the best sports car I've ever driven, like ever. And there's like, oh, come on, it's not an exotic. It's just an American. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about because you've never driven them. And if you could say you drove all three and came away from that and said the Z06 isn't the best out of all three, then I would question you know, your thought process because
Hmm.
it is the best car I've ever owned. I love it. And also to your point, it's nice going to the dealership and getting an oil change for a reasonable price or getting something on it for a reasonable price as opposed to, $2,000, $3,000 for an oil change on a Huracan. So to your point, being like we're both the same, just average American guys, it's a car that you can realistically live with and drive and not be afraid that it's going to bankrupt you,
Hmm.
because some of these other cars are just, it's insane. Like I do like McLarens. I like the way they look, but they're a nightmare because they're always breaking down. That would drive me nuts. And with the Z06, we can drive them all the time. We can put miles on them and they're just keep going, you know? So again, you know, I'm so happy that I got into this and am part of the community now because I love these cars. And I'm just trying to continue to get the word out about, you know, not only the performance of the cars and what you can do to them, but I tell people all the time. I had a talk with a guy yesterday, and he makes the strut bars that for the back, and you can have them actually customized. So I was working with him on some customization, and we were talking about like for the Corvette, if you can dream up an accessory, it exists. Like that's the one thing about these Corvettes. It's like if you think about it in your mind, hey, I wonder if they make this bolt in titanium or whatever. Someone has it for sale. It's amazing the stuff you can get for these cars. And I've started to kind of go a little crazy. I do a couple of videos on all these ridiculous accessories that they sell. But again, to your point, I appreciate this car. I love it. When I sold it, there was many sleepless nights of dreaming of having that car again, and fortunately I was able to get it. Um so yeah, again, I really appreciate it, man. I love your videos. I'm so glad that you agreed to come on with me. And hopefully, you know, if everything comes together, we can do another video with some people from Solar and talk, and see if we can set that up and make that happen. But I really do appreciate you and your time.
Yeah, you too, and thank you for having me. It's a nice meeting you. I get the vibe that I think you and I are going to be friends moving forward. I just you just get a read on people, and I know it's superficial at this point, but I just get a good vibe, and so I have a feeling that you and I are going to be friends moving forward. So I'm excited. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and anyway, so I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, you too, man. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.